Hi, I'm Rob from Ambition to Achieve. Thanks for joining us. And today I'm joined by Ben from Oleco, and he's going to give us an introduction into his business. Hi Ben, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Nice to see you. Do you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the business?
I'm Ben and I run Oleco. I've been running it for 12 years and we're an electrical contractor based in Llanfairpwll on Anglesey and cover North Wales and the North West as well.
So we were talking before we came live a little bit about the work that you do, and you were talking about your kind of industrial background. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about like the work that you do and some of the contracts that you and the sites that you work on?
So we currently look after 2 sites for Maui Group, who are a big salmon breeder, a site for AMG Oleco in Holyhead, 3 caravan parks, Citizens Advice Bureau on Anglesey, Ysgol David Hughes in Menabridge, and a number of the Midland restaurants in Beaumaris and formerly Conwy, and a number of businesses in Beaumaris, Menabridge and further along the island as well.
So quite a big spectrum of businesses there then. Do you predominantly, obviously we were talking earlier on and you live on the island, do you kind of prioritise your work on the island, or do you go further afield and into England, or is it just North Wales?
We do work in England. We've done work for the Book People at their Haydock site. We do work for a large property developer, and his properties are predominantly in Manchester and those surrounding areas. But mainly we like to stay, we do work up the coast for a company called Washloo as well. They're a Japanese bidet toilet company, so we do their installs and some maintenance and things for them. And but predominantly on the island, yeah, we like to keep it local.
Look after the local people.
Yeah, definitely.
So going back now a little bit then to your short period of time before you became self-employed, what inspired you to start this business?
When I was working for people, I really felt like I had not more to give, but I felt sort of constrained by working for someone, and I was always busy with my own projects and things anyway. So where my hand was forced a little bit, my old employer stopped trading, and I was at a bit of a crossroads. I did a bit of agency work, but then as people understood I was available and doing a bit of self-employed things, it just snowballed and it forced my hand to do it full time because I didn't have enough time to go and do anything else really.
Cool. Yeah, sometimes it's not a natural straight line, is it? I mean, things change and things develop, and that brings us on to the next question really, in terms of, you might have already answered this, was there a particular moment when you realised that it could have become something more than just the idea?
Once I started doing work for people and realising they were calling me back and recommending me, and then recommending me to bigger customers in terms of we might do something in somebody's house and then they might be friends with someone who owned a business and then we'd go and do work for them. And so once it was validated that we were doing a good job, then I think I realised that I could keep pushing it and appeal to bigger customers and then sort of bite off more than you can chew and then learn how to chew it, you know. So yeah. That was how I approached it, and yeah, that's when I realised really. And then when we got the bigger customers and more commercial works, and we carried on being in places and going back again and again and again, you realise, well, yeah, we can keep pushing this sort of thing.
Yeah, would you say, obviously from a business growth perspective, commercial versus domestic, what's the differences between those two kind of customer bases for you as an electrical business?
Commercial customers, I find, are easier to deal with because they're getting work done and it's quite fluid because they know they've got a time scale and they just get it done to a time scale and they give you a lot of notice, whereas we're all guilty of it. when we're doing work in our own houses, when we're doing work in our own houses, that's all that matters to everybody. I'm the same. You just go, oh, why isn't the plumber here? Why isn't the electrician here? You know, so it's then people are trying to push their house along, which is rightly so, because sometimes people are living without a kitchen or without a living room while they do it up, and then they're at a big push to get it going, and there's a bit more pressure on the domestic side. So I find commercial stuff easy to deal with. That's just me, though. There are a lot of lads out there who are doing a lot of domestic work and doing a really good job of it and managing everything really well, you know. But I prefer to manage and sort of do commercial work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big shift now with solar panels and, you know, these new heating systems. I suppose that maybe has changed the way, you know, maybe electrical companies look at domestic work, do you think?
Yeah. A few of my friends who run businesses, they jumped onto the schemes that the government had and the electrical companies had to do the Eco4 grants and the heat pump, solar panels, battery storage, everything. And they did really well with it. It got them really busy. But the thing with them is they come to an end, and they've come to an end. And I think it has changed it in terms of that people are willing to flock towards something because it's guaranteed for a few years, you know. But in terms of how it's changed customers' outlook, I don't really know. I don't know.
I suppose also when you look at those kind of grant funded programs, there's no longevity in it. Is there, like you say, you know, changes in governments every 3 to 5 years and priorities change, don't they? So I suppose in terms of business development and growth, maybe that isn't the most sustainable way of going about it.
I suppose there's two arguments to that. I think in terms of when a scheme ends, then it's not good to put all your eggs in one basket. But around here, being a contractor with 2 to 3 to 4 years work, contracting for a big company like Menai Heating, it's probably the most job security you would get as a contractor on Anglesey, around here, self-employed. So there's sort of, you could see it as a bad thing in terms of they end and then they start, and there's a gap in between, and it does flood the market because there's more lads looking for work when in the time in between. But if people are after job security and stuff as a self-employed electrician, I think they're brilliant things, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And that kind of brings us on to the next question really about your learning journey and challenges. So what's been the biggest challenge that you faced on the journey so far, and what did that teach you? What lessons can you impart to the viewers?
I think maybe a lot of people say this, COVID was a big thing for us. We were very lucky because we're down at a couple of fish farms, and they serve the food industry. So that section of our work didn't dry up. I was still able to come to work, but obviously having grown the business, and then the business has to run at a cost every month, and you're working to meet those costs, you know, when other lads aren't working because there's not enough work and things. That was a huge challenge. We were lucky that we were able to still be down here, but all our other work, the caravan parks, the restaurants, the pubs, everything stopped. And I know a lot of people had it a lot harder than I did and other people, but it was a huge challenge. And I think what I learned was that even though, so when COVID hit, I was 6 years into being self-employed. Even though you like to think the business is quite secure, you soon learn that everything is fragile. You know, once it all gets taken away, it's an eye-opener moment, isn't it? It's tough, isn't it? Yeah. And would you say, obviously, 2020, 2021 changed anyway that you work with in your operation? Did it make things stronger, or do you do things differently because of it? I think it had a positive effect on my work-life balance. I'd like to think not a negative effect on the business, but I definitely enjoyed the time at home, even though it was uncertain and people were very ill and unfortunately dying.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I really enjoyed the time at home with my wife and my kids, and that aspect of it made me realise that by working and really pushing the business, I'm missing out on an awful lot here. So it did change how I see my work-life balance. But in terms of operating, in a weird way for us, it went a lot quieter. We still had a bit going on at the fish farms. But then everything opened up, and a good thing for us, and I know a lot of businesses have suffered because of the bounce back loans and the grants and things, but the restaurants and things then had to diversify and do takeaway service and this
They
and that.
needed services changing, I suppose, didn't they?
Of course, yeah. So then when they had to diversify, it drew us and all the trades back in.
Created work.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, in terms of operating, I think it went quiet and then it just ramped up again. So I don't think it has changed the way businesses in trades operate.
Yeah, I think, that's what we hear a lot when we talk about sort of 2020 and 2021 is the way that it changed, people's outlook on work-life balance. And yeah, I mean, previous to that, I suppose the hustle now feels different, doesn't it? Because that time in 2020 where you had that sort of 3 to 4 months where we were on lockdown, it gave you an opportunity to see the other side of it, I suppose, didn't it? And what that actually means to be around with your kids and stuff and your family. So still looking at those challenges and the learning, I'm just looking down here at the questions to keep us on track. Is there anything that nobody kind of warned you about when you started the business, and any sort of lessons that you've taken from that?
I think a big lesson I've learned is that if I can help someone, I will. That's personally in business. If I can help you and do anything to make something a bit easier, then I definitely will. I quickly learned being self-employed. I was quite naive. I was 24 when I went self-employed, so I was very naive. And I learned that not everybody's like that. And especially in business when, I won't give a proper example, but if you send an invoice to someone and they then decide that they're not paying you because they're waiting on something, or they just don't want to, or they're a bit of a nightmare. So in that instance, that becomes the challenge of trying to be nice and do a good job and everything, and as you soon realise that not everybody's like that. And I think business does bring out the best and worst depending on your character. I work with some incredible people. We do work for Coffee Dryer, and they're just incredible to work for.
Yeah.
But you get the flip side where it becomes a challenge and a lesson where you go, ooh, hang on, that's not how I do it. But you have to understand that not everybody's the same, are they? Everybody works in different ways.
Yeah, I suppose that's quite a big lesson, really, because when you're employed, you don't see that side of chasing invoices, chasing nightmare clients, chasing issues that they might have and not wanting to pay, for example. So yeah, that's an interesting one. It's one I've not heard before, so it's good because we get to see different, hospitality businesses, retail businesses, electrical like yourselves. Learning and development was one I did the other day. So it's nice to see the different challenges within the different sectors,
Yeah.
So coming away from that then, obviously, we've talked there a little bit about learning and setbacks. Let's talk about your achievements. What's a couple of achievements that you're most proud of within the business?
I think my ability to appeal to and then keep clients who operate on a worldwide level. For me, with a few lads, to work for Maui Group, who are the biggest salmon breeder in the world, AMGL Poco in Holyhead, measurable energy, even secondary schools, and continue to maintain and keep that work. I think that's probably one of my biggest achievements, because a lot of people go down the route of using a bigger company because it's safe and
feels safer.
Of course it does. But to give the impression that we can manage that work and then deliver on that work we've been working for Maui Group for 12 years. So it's a relationship now, really, isn't it, that period of time? That's it, yeah. So they know they can trust us. If they ask us to do something, we'll do it, and it'll be on when we say it'll be on, you know. So I think and then I really concentrated on restaurant installations. I got asked, I was really lucky, David Owen, who owns the Midland, he asked me to wire the Conway restaurant, and he designed it all, how he wanted it to look, and I put it in place like a bespoke metalwork everywhere within the restaurant, certain lights, lighting different things. And off the back of that, we got work it used to be called Tapestry. It's now called Shillings by Menabridge.
Oh, right, okay. That one of the old NatWest, is it? The old Pages?
Yeah, NatWest, yeah. We did some work in the Bridge Inn in Menabridge, and then the restaurant that was in Cafe 39, Boracic, that was a cocktail bar. And then we also did work in Theodore's. It's now Hideout down at the bottom. So that was a good achievement to do something to a standard where other local restaurants are looking, seeing
we're talking and
saying, "Oh, that looks good." Let's and it was So that was a good achievement. Yeah.
Any awards? Anything that you've? No. Do you like awards? Some entrepreneurs tell me they don't like them. Others say they love them. So I think it's a bit of a love-hate relationship there.
Yeah, I don't like them, because I feel you obviously have to say, look, we've done this, can we be considered for an award in the most case?
Yeah.
And I'm not like that. So yeah, I don't really like recognition. We just plod on and do the best we can, you know. So no awards.
Yeah, and like your quality mark, I mean, you know, you've spoken there about that relationship, obviously, with those restaurants and bars. One good job, that quality mark obviously carries forward, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, obviously they talk about good stuff, don't they? Which is good. So that takes us then to look at the future. Where do you see the business over the next sort of 5 years? Any developments that you want to talk about?
I'd like to think the business will be definitely a bit bigger than it is now. So I'd like to maybe have 4 or 5 vans on the road, a few more lads, and then a few more clients, and just appeal to more commercial customers on Anglesey and North Wales and wider, because we will cover anywhere, but we do predominantly cover the island. So I would like to be further along, to just be 4 or 5 vans, 8 or 10 lads, and just
sustainable growth.
Yeah. I think a lot of people go too big too quick, and it's not their fault, because they get a lot of work thrown at them, and they go, great.
They need to cope with that then, don't they, by employing and...
Well, yeah, and then they do, and then all of a sudden, 18 months later, all those projects, then they have to be transferable, don't they?
Definitely.
If you get asked to wire a massive block of flats with 150 flats in it, you've got the manpower there, and you've got the vans, and you've got everything, but then you need another block of 150 flats, don't you?
For when that one's comes to an end, yeah.
Or you need something of size, you know. So it's really hard if you go too big too soon, I think. So I do want to just be slow and steady, and just hopefully it pays off, you know.
And sustainable. How many lads have you got working for you now then?
So there's 4 of us at the minute. There's me and 3 others. One full-time subcontractor who's been with me 5-6 years. One full-time employed electrician who is, we brought him on from his first year all the way to being qualified. And one subcontractor we use. I wouldn't say sporadically, but it's more often than not. Yeah, more often than not. Yeah.
And how many vehicles?
2 vehicles at the minute. So yeah, it's you think you've got somewhere, and then one of them breaks, and you think, oh my god,
more cost.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is, I mean, we won't cover costs. Obviously, that would be here all day, wouldn't we? Talking about projections and figures, and but we will talk about. Obviously, you were saying that about in the sort of 5-year plan. With those plans, then, what impact would you like the business to have on the communities and the people that it has served and will serve in the future?
I'd like people to know that we're still reliable. So even if we grow, the people within this community around here, Llangoed, Llanona, Llamais, Bimaris, Llandegwan, friends I was in school with, mums and dads of friends, local business owners who knew my parents.
Family connection as well, isn't it, around here?
Everybody's given me a chance. We've done a couple of things. We've fitted a few defibrillators free of charge, and we try and donate and things back to the community, prizes for raffles and things like that. But I would like to make sure that we don't, even though we have managed to get some unbelievable work for some brilliant customers that are bigger than I ever dreamed of, really, I would like to make sure that as we grow or continue to grow, that people know that we're still the local electrician, and we haven't sort of forgotten about them and stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to keep serving that community, because without them, I wouldn't have had the leg up to be able to go and get these big customers,
And I suppose that's the challenge, isn't it? When we were talking earlier on about sustainable growth, obviously keeping that local aspect is a challenge, isn't it? But if you continue to serve and I suppose be visible in the community as well, so keeping your office here in Penmon, just stunning location, people still realise that you're here, don't you? And that's one of the main sort of things, because your vans will come and go through the towns of Llangoed and Bimaris to go further afield, so people still see you passing through, don't they? Yeah,
definitely.
So that brings us back around to our final questions now.
Okay.
And because this channel is all about ambition and putting the story of entrepreneurs' ambitions across, I'm going to ask you, what's your ambition?
My ambition is to retire having built something that I'm proud of, and something that if my 2 sons want to be a part of it or take it on, it's been sustained and it is in a healthy position for them to take it in the direction they want to take it. It might not be the same as I've done it. They might do 1,000,000 times better than me, and I hope they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my ambition, to have a comfortable life with a business that works and continues to work and grow, and something I can be proud of that I'm handing over to my sons if they do want to take on. That's
amazing, isn't it? It's a lovely legacy, that.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think it's so the business is named after my 2 sons. So it's if they want to take it on, they can. If they don't want to, then that's fine. We'll shut the doors. But if it's there for them to take on, if they want to, then great, ideal. That's all I want.
That's nice. So that brings us to our final question, then, Ben, and it's about what advice. So think about your journey over the last 13 years. You've been self-employed. 14 years. Yeah. What piece of advice can you give to the viewers watching this video who have maybe got an ambition, who maybe want to start up an electrical company, for example? What do they need to think about before taking those first steps on their ambition and their journey?
I think the biggest thing is to be prepared for the setbacks. You might win 60% of the jobs you're going to see, you might win 20%. You've got to be prepared to be told, oh, someone else was cheaper, someone else was this, someone else can do it sooner. You've got to be prepared for the setbacks. You've got to be prepared to put the business first. So if people haven't paid, you earn last. So the business needs to pay its bills. The wholesalers need their money. otherwise you can't get stuff to go next week. The VAT man needs his money, tax man needs his money. So all the bills get paid, then the wages of the lads get paid, and then you take your money. So you've got to be prepared to see the business as something that comes first for a very long time. I would say 5 years is probably realistic.
Yeah.
But be prepared to do all those things, but learn from everything, the setbacks. Learn and go, oh, well, maybe I took a bit too much last time. Maybe I'll take a bit more, a bit less. Learn from those things, but embrace it, because the freedom, the ability to, if you are good enough and get to a point where you're busy enough, the ability to choose what you take on and what you don't. The people you meet, the people you help along the way, and they help you, and business owners from all walks of life. I mean, even electricians around here, they're brilliant. Everybody gets on, recommends each other if they're too busy. Yeah. It's really good. So I think embrace it, but also lean on other people. If you can have an influence of someone else who's in business, if you've got mum and dad who's sensible, and just lean on the people who are important, who can push you, you know. And I think that's what I'd say. So the main takeaways then, obviously resilience and using those kind of networks around you. Yeah, definitely. I think networks are the most important thing, because you need people to trust you, and then you need to show you're trustworthy, and then automatically then, if you prove you're trustworthy, your network, the people you know and get introduced to will just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. But as long as you're trustworthy, you turn up when you say you do, you will. You do a job exactly how you say you will, and there's no problems with it. You can't go far wrong, really. You'll do all right, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, thanks for your time, Ben. No, thank you for coming. It's been lovely having a chat with you this morning. Yeah, and you too. Thank you very much. No worries. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it a like, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you are working on your ambition and you haven't haven't quite had the bit of advice that you wanted from this video, please do pop it in the comments, and we do take time to look at the ambitions and we will come back to you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.